This is the last of the videos that I discuss with you. This is what we call a call to action. We have two options. Don't plan and collapse, or plan and continue. Now I'm going to break down what plan and continue means and what collapse means. Don't plan and collapse is what we're basically doing now, except for this fact. What our leaders are doing is worse than doing nothing. Do you know why? Because they've led us to believe that we're going to fix the problem. They've led us to believe that climate change will be manageable. Oh yes, it's going to get hotter and the storms are going to worse, but this is going to work out all right. Just keep doing what you're doing and save your money. And they want you to believe that sustainability is possible. All these alternative energy people and solar energy and what else? And windmills and biomass, and Elon Musk with his electric cars. It's the biggest fraud on the planet. Electric vehicles save nothing, zero, squat. But they've led us to believe that this is going to work out all right. That's not true. It's not going to work out. And they should have told us this 50 years ago. But they didn't, because they didn't know. So what will the collapse look like? And there is, on our website, on the Earthship website, there's an area called the hard truth. And when you look at the hard truth, you will realize there's something called what I call the climate change accelerator. It is a variable that I never talked about in college. I never talked about it in graduate school. It wasn't even mentioned in any of the economic courses I took. It's called optimism. We're a capitalistic society. We must have capital expenditures. 70% of the U.S. GDP is consumption. And in order to consume, aside from food and necessities, you need to feel good about something. You don't take money out of your wallet and spend it on nonsense unless you think there's going to be more money coming in and you're going to be all right. You just keep spending what you got. Well, that's called optimism. Well, what's going to happen is the level of optimism in the consumer's mind is going to begin to decrease. Some say it has already. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. Conventional economists, of which I'm not one, already agree that robust growth is over. So we're hitting the apex. We're gonna stop growing and getting better and richer, one way or the other. But there are other things that are going to impact our optimism, like the global political system, the geopolitical system. Look, I've been around for a long time, and I've never been so nervous about the sociopaths that are running our world. What's happening over in Israel to the poor Palestinians? What's happening to the poor Ukrainians? They're under the thumb of a sociopath in Russia. Xi Jinping is a very smart man, but he's got big problems on his hand, and he wants to move into the South China Sea. It's just a matter of time. These issues do not have an easy answer. So these things are going to impact our optimism. So we're going to, at some point, begin to pull in our wings and spend less. What happens when you spend less? The tax base shrinks. What happens then? When the tax base shrinks, then social services begin to decline. Road repair, litter removal. That's where it'll start. The things that are on the periphery that we really don't need, but we have taxes, so we do it anyway. And then we're going to start to have a decrease in medical, and then in fire and in police. And these things only make the lack of optimism worse. So it's going to cascade across the country. Once it settles in the public's brain, once they begin to understand what I just explained now, and they're going to understand it. It's not difficult. They'll begin to see, that we've bleeped up, and I say bleeped up because you can't say the other word. But we bleeped up. We made a terrible mistake. Oil in the ground, free energy was a windfall, but we treated it like it was an entitlement. It wasn't an entitlement. It was a windfall. We abused it. We took too much out of the ground and put the carbon back in the atmosphere. So our decline will come much faster than most people believe because of the lack of optimism in the consumer's mind. So what should we do? Should we just let that happen to us? I don't know. the collapse will be eventually anarchistic, violent, and there will be more human suffering than anybody has ever seen. It'll be worse than all the wars put together, and there will be no end. There will be no winners. We're going to go away. But if we plan, we might be able to extend our time on Earth. And if you're under 40 years of old, I suggest, under 40 years of age, I suggest your ears should perk up now, and you should be very, very angry. Plan and continue. The Earthship program will tell the public the stark truth about climate change. That's the only thing I have to offer to the world, is to tell them the truth that they've been denied. And what do they say? The truth will set you free, right? Well, maybe it won't save us. It will not, but it'll it'll set us free for a little bit longer. We'll get more time. I'm going to get my time, but you guys, you want to get your time too. So you need to act. You need to be very angry, and you need to act. The Earthship program will bring people together. We will discuss among ourselves. We will elect leaders. We will come up with a plan. We will decide what we're going to do. We have two things in our power: dollars and votes. And if you've seen that website at the bottom of some of these slides, it's called fixyourcongress.org. Very simple. To be honest with you, why nobody thought to do this before is beyond me. But the fixyourcongress.org needs an awful lot of signatures. That's all you got to do is sign up, and we're going to force states to change the way they select their candidates for public office. We're still going to elect them the same way. That won't change. But the way we select them will remove the money, and that'll make our Congress work better. And when it comes to dollars, your power with dollars is you don't spend them. You don't like to hear that, because we're Americans, and that's all we do is consume. But it's over. I explained it to you that the end is in sight. So stop consuming now. Consume only what you need to live and do your job. You don't need another car right away. You don't need a new dress right away. You're just going to have to suck it up. And if enough people do that, that will impact the economy. And if we impact the economy, then we'll have the attention of the people in charge. We'll then explain the truth to corporations. Now, if you know somebody that's well placed in a corporation, highly placed in a corporation, I don't want to talk to any VP of environment or VP of feel good. I need to go right to the top, and I have a business plan that will allow the corporations to spend serious money, very serious money, on day one. And then on year two, they get all their money back at an agreed rate, and this return is guaranteed. And I will put money in escrow just to ensure that they get back what I say they're going to get. So it's a no-risk deal for corporations, and the corporation gets seen to be doing the right thing. The right thing is to stop lying to the public, stop pretending they're sustainable. That's all baloney. There is no sustainability. It's impossible. So they'll get to look good, and they'll get their money back. So then with this big whack of money, the next thing I'm going to do will be to conduct a global, massive public relations campaign to tell the world the truth. All right, we can do this. You can start it. Get me in to see a corporation. It'll work. I know they'll pay for it. I already have documentation. So get in there and do it. Okay, America, let me move this. Excuse me while I slide my chair to the other side of the room. Oh, that. Now, America has led the world before through wars, industrial revolution, and technology and things like that. So we do have the ability to do that. America, where is my little button here? America must lead the world again. But this time we must lead by setting a good example, not by military force or economic persuasion. We should lead by setting a good example for the rest of the world. This is what might happen if, I'll move my chair again, if we tell the world the truth and everybody in the world begins to understand what has happened, how it happened. Well, it might bring the world together. Maybe it'll even do something to diminish the Arab-Israeli thing. Maybe it'll do something. Maybe the Russian people will rise up and kick Putin out of office. Maybe Xi Jinping will begin to see that we have to contract. We cannot grow. Growth is over. Robust growth is over. Even the conventional economists know that. And here's one other thing we could do. Now look at this. We could this large movement that we're going to create together, all of us, is going to fly in the face of Donnie Moptop. Donnie Moptop, oh, that's the guy in the White House there. That's Donnie Moptop. That thing on top of his head, he takes it off at night and he feeds it, and then he puts it back on in the morning. So Donnie Moptop is not going to like the fact that we're going up against his climate change agenda, which is a zero climate change. He's not going to like the fact that those people that are concerned enough about their lives that just simply stop buying. They just buy what they need to live and nothing else. And eventually that will impact the tax base. And then, as I explained, and when the tax base shrinks, services shrink, and the problem will spread across the country. But we've got to do something. We can't allow this to happen to us and do nothing about it. My generation, what we had the civil rights, we had the Vietnam War, we had Watergate, we had the Democratic Convention, the problems with that. These were problems and we marched, we protested, we said 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't want your effing war. Yeah, we didn't, and we made a difference. I enlisted in the Marines, but that didn't mean anything. But we made a difference. We did something. So you guys are going to have to get off your butts and get your noses out of your phone and get angry and get something done. And we will make a difference in the world. We can do this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you so much for wading through this. I really hope I get to hear something from you online or email or something. All righty? You take care.